Sugarfoot infested folks and the what are now 18-year-olds, maybe 21-year-olds with the space buns on their heads, and they're all like 9 different colors because they got their hair done before they came to Vegas for the big run.
Shit all on their face.
Dude, the crowds were hysterical. People watching on a 10. Like, I know you're a New York guy. You know, I know you enjoy New York, and I like the West Coast. The people watching over there is fantastic in Portland, L.A., San Diego. Vegas is...
Well, it's like a Disney World.
It's just like Disney World. It's so many bread eaters. Like, it's just, they're thick as a bale of cotton.
I mean, buffets galore, free drinks on the floor. I mean, it's like you're on a cruise ship.
So this was a question it's like a cruise ship that just never goes anywhere. So these people are content because they don't have to put those little nodules behind their ears. That's what Vegas is. It's just a cruise ship that doesn't go anywhere.
And they're just pumping O2 out there.
Yeah, and you're like, where did these fuckers crawl out of? Like, what hole do these people come out of in our country? And you're like, Missouri. But, you know, or where the fuck ever, you know? But it's the crowd scene is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I went to Vegas like way back in the day when I think we did my dad did like a summer little trip out there. So it was with the fam, and that was a little different. But I haven't had a big urge to go back.
Yeah, you know, like, so I avoided the tables for the most part. I think I spent like $17, you know, on the tables because we were spending all of our time elsewhere. You know, like it wasn't a trip centralized around going to the casino. We were bipping and bopping. We were in an Uber every 15, 20, 30 an hour, you know, like fucking God knows where all we tried to hit. But like, I'm not rushing back by any means.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, it makes you wonder about those people. It's like the worst of every fan base of everything, all just lumped into a hotel together. That's what it is. And that's Vegas. All right, so let's get back to our regular scheduled program. We have about 10 more minutes, Chris. I want to know what happened in Denver this past week. What did I miss while I was gone? And give us a quick rundown on the best things we may have eaten in Denver.
Let's see. This past week, what happened this past week? Well, I don't know. Maybe it was the weekend before this. I don't know if we talked about it, but I hit up Uncle. First time.
First time ever?
No, first time for like ramen
season?
season. Yeah. So hit up Uncle, the original one over in the Highlands, which was fantastic. And before that, we had gone and put our name down and then swung over to Lady Jane.
You talking date night vibes?
Yeah. Pro tip. Yeah. So put your name down because there's always a fucking wait. And then just swing right down the block to Lady Jane's and have a nice cocktail.
And so Lady Jane does have nice cocktails, and the
great.
vibe is on 100, but it's also kind of like weird vibes where like I always feel out of place, or like I feel like I'm going to step on someone's toes asking a question about a cocktail. It just feels much better than me.
Oh, no, not at all. Because like I feel like sometimes people think that when you go to like a cocktail bar and they have like their cocktails listed.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to stick to that. And they aren't offended. Like when I went, I wanted a Vesper Martini because I wanted something to pack a booze punch.
Yeah.
And so I was like, do you mind? You think you can make me a Vesper? And she was like, yeah. And from there on, it was fucking delicious, by the way. Only needed one. But yeah, like you don't have to, you can order classics.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but it was packed. Like I haven't seen a cocktail bar like that packed. You know, just right out the gate
since pre-COVID.
Yeah,
and I mean, I feel like that neighborhood's been really strong recently. You know, that Low-High, Tejon, 32nd corridor. You know, we've harped on Pirate Alley Po' Boy, which is just up the street. You know, we've had Bar Taco. You know. And then recently, I was just around the corner trying out the new brunch at Chef Amos Watts, the Fifth String. It's fucking amazing. Like everything that you have to bring an elevated game.
It looks hearty.
Dude, I mean, it's Midwest, but it's an elevated Midwest. So, like, the hollandaise, you're going to get some home fries covered with hollandaise on the side, you know? There's some loaded omelets. They have big, thick-cut brioche for their French toast, Chris. And they've only been doing it, like, 2 or 3 weeks. And so it's not necessarily break the bank, like, where their dinner menu is bring your pocketbook. This isn't as bad in that regard, but whatever you do get, make sure the couch is not far away, and make sure you have one of your vape pens in your pocket, because if you order more than one thing, you're going to have to reload the appetite. Like, that neighborhood over there is starting to catch a serious vibe.
Yeah. This Saturday night, I ended up snagging Cart Driver in Low High.
Oh, yeah. And they have kind of a more of an expanded menu.
Yeah.
And so you kind of can play with that. And their natural wine list, shout out to Benny and Zoid Selections. They have a fantastic wine selection over there.
Yeah. We had takeout because we were watching the Bama game. But we called in some takeout, went down the street, picked it up, and then, just enjoyed it at the house. It was good.
Hey, there you go. So you ate out really well last week.
Yeah.
I dig it. Well, before we go, Chris, we have quick.
Oh, shit. And I randomly, I forgot, sorry.
No, go for it.
Nathaniel Ratliff, and them are playing at the Mission, December 16th and 17th.
Okay.
And the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, I think, is opening for them.
Have we already pulled the trigger on tickets on this, or are they on sale?
I snagged tickets. They're on sale. They went on sale Friday, but I saw that and I was like, I haven't seen this guy, and
dude, he
puts
sells out
some
everything.
Great music,
yeah.
And his concert, he seems like he's got tons of energy. So I was like, fuck it, let's go ahead and do it.
He has tons of energy, but he falls into that sad boy season category with everybody else that wears blue jean jackets. For every father that drank whiskey and hated their kids, there is that musician. It's that Stapleton, Mumford & Sons, Lumineers. When the sun is setting at 4:30, these are the bands that you play. Nathaniel Ratliff is in that category. It's like bourbon weather.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
Yeah,
I'm stoked. It'll be fun.
He sells out everything he touches, and he's a native. He's a Colorado native. So
yeah, they're doing 2 nights. I think it's a Thursday and a Friday night at the Mission.
Which one did you pull the trigger on?
I think maybe Thursday.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Well, we'll tag along on that one. So if y'all want to grab tickets, we're going to be at the Mission December 16th. It's a Thursday. But we should have it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so from now on, for the next 3 days, you'll have episodes with folks, repeat guests, first timers. We're talking everything from censorship and social media all the way down to smoking weed with Willie Nelson. So y'all keep listening. Let us know what y'all think. Obviously, don't grade us based off of our interviewing volumes in public. We can't help that. But we hope you like the tips of the town for Denver, the recap from Vegas. And until next episode, we say stay high, stay hungry.
Support MJBiz.
Bada bing. Back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Stoned Appetit with a special edition from Kips at MJBizCon. Pretty much that's the caption. What we're here to do this week is to learn more about the cannabis industry. Everything from technology to growing to fucking fertilizer. We're learning everything. We've got episodes with everybody, but today I'm fired up. We have Ariana Newton. She is the business relations manager at WeedTube. And if you don't know what WeedTube is, you're about to learn a lot. But for the elevator pitch, it is a new cannabis-backed, cannabis-friendly, all-inclusive video sharing platform. So think YouTube, but this is one that allows cannabis users to actually monetize on their accounts. And for those that don't know, we cannot
post branded content without it getting deleted.
Hell yeah. So we're going to dive into everything from censorship to the company and what y'all are doing.
Absolutely. I'm a huge advocate for the mental health aspect too of the plant and kind of what social media and mental health.
Too?
Yeah, absolutely.
But before we get into that, let me give a quick shout out to our sponsors. It wouldn't be possible this week without Seed Smith. Y'all know for a fact I carry that dart on me everywhere. You're not supposed to technically, by law, travel with that puppy, but I did because you have to have it.
And it was really good.
Right? Not only do the carts and, flavors or, terp profiles, they stroke. But they also, you can find them across Denver. So for those that are looking for them and want them in their store, check them out. Check out seedandsmith.com. And if you're looking for a store where you can pick up the dart, which is very friendly for folks that are on the go. If you're going skiing this winter or if you're just leaf peeping with your mom, you can discreetly hit this in the car. It doesn't matter. Seed and Smith's got you covered. So check them out, buy their shit. They also have fantastic flour, wax, and then at their locations both on Oakland and on Heckler Way, they have the whole gambit of edibles, drinks, and everything else. But after that, let's get back to the business. Miss Ariana, how are you today?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing so good. Just the perfect amount of lit. I think the energy is great in Vegas, so I love being here.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. So you may not know this, but we like to ask everybody kind of the same question to kind of get the ball rolling.
Perfect.
And it's usually Colorado themed of, are you a transplant or a native?
Right. I was a transplant.
Yeah, so you spent some time in Colorado, but tell us a little bit about your background. Where do you live? Where you're from? Things of that nature.
Yes, so I'm from Montana originally, and I was in Colorado for a little bit, but I did move back to Montana. Obviously, the market there is kind of shifting with recreational adult use kind of coming into play in 2022, so I'm really excited to kind of figure cannabis out in my home state.
Wait, you live in Montana?
Montana.
Where in Montana?
Missoula, Montana.
Okay, that's the capital? Or no, it's the bigger city?
Helena is the capital.
Yeah.
Missoula is one of the college towns, so I did go to school there. I'm from Great Falls originally.
Is that the Grizzlies?
It is the Grizzlies,
okay. I'm
absolutely.
slowly coming back around.
So yeah, Grizzlies, Bobcats. So Bozeman and Missoula are pretty big, prominent areas in Montana. So they're prominent for the cannabis scene as well. Missoula already has a Cookies, which is crazy. Montana, it's still just medicinal. So it's kind of cool to see how the market is kind of shifting into Montana, but also the local side of kind of like what is going on, the groundwork of how these like med programs have been running. And, you know, being in a red state, it's been a ride, I know, for a lot of the people kind of doing the groundwork there. But I'm excited to kind of come home and figure out what's going on with this market in Montana for sure.
That is awesome that you are getting to be a part of this grassroots campaign that's kind of starting up in Montana. And one thing that may even be part of it is y'all do have that little exodus of folks leaving California with those more progressive, I mean, it happens. We're in Colorado.
Listen, I barely made it back to Montana. I was like, I better get back there before it fills up.
Yeah, we'd love to get rid of Californians in Colorado. But at the same time, y'all are starting to kind of have that. And y'all are, I think most states are coming around on it. Before we dive into the business of, you know, WeedTube and things of that nature, what are the outlooks? Do you expect like a Montana to go before Arkansas? You know, Mississippi has it kind of pending in between state legislature. Where do you rank it in this progressiveness of the red states that are kind of, because Wyoming's a ball buster, as is Kansas.
I would say it's very progressive. So Montana, while we are very conservative, we have like a huge population of veterans, and I think that's one of the biggest thing is getting veterans off of prescription drugs.
That's a very good point. Like having them
so we've had so many cannabis advocates come through and really like champion this plant. The medicinal program has been in the works for years, and trying to get the VA system set up to kind of like accept cannabis as like an alternative form of medication for these veterans. That's a big thing in Montana. So we definitely are a little more progressive, I think, than a lot of other places, but
still some
the laws are, I was going to say, figuring out the laws and logistics has been a nightmare, I know, for them. I'm not super well informed or versed, but I've heard horror stories of what, you know, the people that are down there, you know, they're paying for all the licenses, they're doing everything. Like, they literally just made a new license where you have to pay to have a separate license for CBD to sell in your storefront. So all of these places that are already established now have to go back, like, figure out if they're going to do that. So it's just very much, they're riding the wave of whatever, like, the Department of Revenue, because the Department of Revenue is running everything currently in Montana, which is a little problematic. But anyways, it's a whole crapshoot. But Montana is well on its way, and I'm very confident and excited to see kind of like how it progresses there. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, you seem fairly well versed. At least in the general
in Montana.
sense. Yeah, at least in the general sense.
Sure.
And you work in the scene as well, as we're sitting outside a very large fucking convention center full of. I'll tell y'all, we'll talk about the crowd when we get back with Chris. It's not nearly as crunchy as I thought. Much more blazers. God. It's a lot more blazers and suits than I would have thought.
Oh, not as crunchy.
Yeah.
She's been using crunchy in a negative connotation, so
Well, I mean,
anyways,
I guess,
yes.
But, I mean, it's not necessarily negative. It's
no,
just
totally. I
not
get what you're
as
saying.
much wook-footed as I would have thought.
Right.
But how did I guess the question there was, how did you you're well knowledge in the scene, how did you get introduced into it? How did you find your way working for, you know, one of the larger,
I'll jump into it a little bit. So, you know, moving from Montana, I was a very closeted cannabis consumer. I was smoking and finishing up my, you know, degree at the University of Montana, and it was kind of miserable, right? And I was like, how do I get through? And finding kind of these people online was a big game changer for me, and like kind of realizing that there were these markets of cannabis consumers and people talking about the products they were using. I didn't have to like be so hush quiet about it. I've always had like kind of stoner adjacent family members and things like that have accepted and been accepting, but I was definitely a goody two-shoes to some extent, so I was scared to tell people about my consumption use. And then I moved to Colorado, and I met all of these crazy people online smoking weed and talking about the plant and